Will my exclusive footage of the death of Jean-Luc Brunel, a procurer of underage girls for the late notorious sex fiend Jeffrey Epstein, finally blow the lid on this sinister and curiously underreported circle of underage sex traffickers? Let's find out as we go busting the narrative. Yes, that's right. In this world exclusive, we reveal what happened when Jeffrey Epstein associate Jean-Luc Brunel committed suicide in a French jail on the weekend. Have a look. Oh, wait. Hang on. There seems to have been some kind of technical problem with the video cameras, much like the one that the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York had when Jeffrey Epstein supposedly also made the same fate in 2019. I don't know, the death of each of these men seriously diminishes the number of people who prosecutors can lean on to divulge the names of other members of this sinister and secretive group, some of whom are supposedly extremely rich and powerful. Now, to be fair to the French authorities, video cameras are not permitted in the actual cells of French jails, something about the European Union's right to privacy even for convicted criminals, but they are allowed in hallways, so footage of Brunel's suicide was always going to be unlikely. But the alarming aspect of Brunel's death is that he had a chance to commit suicide at all. Because Brunel, who like Epstein was aged in his 70s, had been in prison since December 2020, charged with procuring underage girls and rape. He had apparently already made several attempts on his own life and was reported to be under constant watch. But despite this, he managed to hang himself somehow, or perhaps hang himself with the help of other people who wanted him silenced. Anyway, for more on this breaking story, let's cross live to CNN for the latest developments. Oh dear, it seems CNN is also having technical difficulties covering this important story. Could it be because some of Epstein's closest pals were, well, high-ranking Democrats and members of the Democrat-loving entertainment industry? This is not to say that just because they were mates with Epstein, that made them co-participants in the sexual trafficking or abuse of underage girls, but, just point this out, as Bradley Edwards, the lawyer who represented dozens of Epstein victims, said in his book Relentless Pursuit about the case in 2020, the only Epstein associate who ever volunteered to help him out was Donald Trump. Quote, he said, "He is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to him, Trump was the only person who picked up the phone and said, 'Hey, let's just talk.' Now, he gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward, but he had good information." Epstein's closer friends, however, such as Bill Clinton, were less forthcoming, and the media has pretended the allegations never existed, even when a witness said she saw Bill Clinton on Epstein's private island with two young girls. It was business as usual for the media covering for Clinton, even while they went to the extra effort to link Epstein to Trump.
Did they care about Bill Clinton when he was engaging in sexual relations in the Oval Office with an intern? No. Did they apologize for him? Yes. Does the mainstream media continue to forgive him? Yes. If it were a Republican, it would be totally different. Look, what we've heard about in this Epstein case are Democrats. We've heard about Bill Richardson. We've heard about George Mitchell. We hear about Bill Clinton. Everybody says, no, Bill was never on the plane, except he's on the manifest 26 times. And then we say, no, he wasn't on the island, except we now have testimonial evidence, identification evidence by Virginia Roberts, who says he was on the island with two young girls.
Another of Epstein's friends, Britain's Prince Andrew, last week settled a civil case with underage sexual assault victim Virginia Roberts for a reported $20 million. It's one of the few settlements reached, despite there being dozens of alleged victims by Epstein and his friends. When Epstein's close friend Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced for underage trafficking in January, it was reported that she would not oppose the publication of the so-called 8 John Does who she trafficked for. But since then, funnily enough, nothing has happened, at least not publicly. If only some of these alleged sexual predators were, I don't know, Canadian truck drivers or anti-lockdown protesters, then their victims might be confident of seeing some justice. But if the track record of the FBI and other investigators into this sordid story is anything to go by, the best these poor victims can hope for, sadly, is more of this. Thanks for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe below. I'm James Morrow, and I'll see you next week for more Busting the Narrative.